Web3 will fundamentally change our lives, but most people aren't aware of how. They can't picture it. So the evolution of the web has been split into 3 chapters that you may have heard of: WEB1, WEB2 and WEB3. Right, well, I want to highlight those chapters and put WEB3 into perspective over a few bite-sized videos. Okay, so let's rewind to the early 90s.
Hey, what's happening, dude? I'm a guy with a WEB3.
Okay, enough of that. But from the early 90s to the early 2000s, WEB1 put the world's information online. And at the start of that period, most of us were booting up Windows 95. Now, on White Mirror, we're all about the decentralized future, Web3 and how society will get better. But we also love nostalgia, and there's perhaps nothing more nostalgic than the sound of the dial-up modems from that time. Now, in the Web1 era, you read pages, searched for information, maybe bought something on early versions of eBay, and this was known as the read web. But we were using our disks less and less, and the web was gaining momentum. The read-only web was transitioning, and people were starting to create their own pages. And this was the dawn of Web2. Awful backgrounds, blaring music that you hadn't asked your browser to play. MySpace had come along in early 2003, and fortunately it did get slightly easier on the eye. From the mid-2000s, Web2 had started to put our whole lives online through our smartphones. Just think about how your phone changed your day with group chats, photos, playlists, ride-hailing apps, food ordering apps, video conferencing. This is all Web2, apps, social media, rewiring habits. This was a massive impact on our lives, of course. Now, I think people would agree that despite the introduction of the internet being absolutely huge, Web2 changed their lives in more ways. And so it might surprise you to think that Web3 will change society to an even greater extent, because this is what people can't see yet. Most people wouldn't be able to define what Web3 actually is. But that's why White Mirror is here, to talk about decentralization and why that's incredibly positive for humanity. You see, when the web was invented, the pioneers made it open and accessible to everyone. It was, in effect, decentralized already. But as time went on, a handful of companies began to dominate, and the web became centralized. This was the peak of Web 2. Facebook, Amazon, Google, Netflix, Twitter, X. Now, without needing to understand the technologies, Web 3 introduces concepts that restore balance again, returning the web to the people where it belongs. Web 3 will have an even greater impact on everyone's lives than Web 2, and decentralization is key to that. It will be more positive for society, and it will return the web to the people. But how does all this happen? Well, that requires an entire channel of content, and the next few bite-sized videos will begin to explain in a bit more detail. Subscribe to White Mirror and we'll take the journey together.